Now, after I gathered all this information, I understood why did God use this prehistoric animal as the symbolic beast of revelation in my dream. Now, to the beast, they will be just sheepish followers and not human beings with a soul. We see that Revelation 13 verse 16 talks about putting a mark in the hand or in the forehead. Now that is in the King James Bible. Now to me there is a huge difference between putting a mark on something or in something. Now if the Bible says it's going to be in the hand or in the forehead, an implant under our skin is very likely. Just after the dream of the elasmotherium, my dream continued and I was all of a sudden in a room at our church with a child. Now the child could walk and was more or less 5 years old. I felt an urge to give the message of the woman and the beast to our church. So I left the child in the room and I told him that I will come back. On my way to our church, I encountered a small venomous hooded snake, like a kind of a cobra, that was just hatched. I looked around for something to kill it with, but I couldn't find anything. Now then all of a sudden a grey cat appeared and swallowed the snake while I was still looking for something to kill it with. Now all of a sudden a huge vehemently black hooded snake appeared and stood right in front of me. Now its hooded head was as big as the head of an adult man. He stood as high as 5 feet and stared me straight in the eyes. Now I was fearful that it would spit me with its venom. Then from the corner of my eye I could see more brown-orange colored little snakes, and the thought came to me that this must be the mother of the baby snakes that hatched. But all of my attention was fixed on this huge black snake that stood threateningly right in front of me. I realized that I had to kill the snake, and all of a sudden the snake started to come towards me. Now I tried to get away, but it was humanly impossible because I was too close to the snake. I swung around and started to run with the snake right on my heels. Now fearfully I realized that it was impossible to outrun the snake. Now in that fearful and anxious moment, while I was fleeing and at the same time realized that I was totally helpless, I felt someone grabbed me by my shoulders and lifted me a little off the ground. Now then I started to fly with an unnatural speed. Now I could feel my toes touching the ground here and there, and this saved me and kept me just out of the reach of the snake, which was right behind me. The moment when the unseen force picked me up, and while I was flying and running at once, I realized that it was the Lord that was saving me from the snake right on that moment. Then in my flight, I saw a shining kind of a weapon that looked like a wheel wrench. I grabbed it, turned around and blindly stormed the snake with it. Now as I swung around, the snake was half an arm's length in front of me. I looked the snake in the eyes, and it felt to me that I wanted to do something impossible, because the weapon in my hand could actually not hurt or destroy the snake or prevent it from biting me. Now nevertheless I stormed the snake and hit it in its hooded head with a seemed to be worthless weapon, and I expected to receive a bite from it at any moment. But amazingly, it did not bite me, and neither did it attack me, and then I woke up. I know that a black snake symbolizes resistance and a venomous spirit that I will encounter while on my way with a message to the church. Now, beside the information about the prehistoric animal, the elasmotherium, I have also found shocking and alarming facts about the woman on the beast in our modern world that's very much alive today. Can it be that we are living in the time of the book of Revelation, the end times? Now, I have found alarming facts. Now, to present it to you, I have to start at a point so that the people who doesn't have knowledge about end time prophecies can understand and follow it as well. Now, I'm going to put puzzle pieces on the table, and before I start, I want to make it clear that I'm not a Revelation specialist. But by making this DVD, I hope that this would encourage you to take it further and investigate for yourselves regarding the end times, and whatever you find to be knowledgeable, that you will share it with us again, for we need watchers on the walls. Now, if we open our Bibles at Revelation 17 verse 7, it says, "And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carry her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the women sit. And the 10 horns which thou saw are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings, 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." And then the angel explained it to John in verse 15. "And he said unto me, The waters which thou saw where the whore sit are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou saw upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Now that's interesting. We see that the beast will at some point turn against this whore, the false church, and shall destroy her with fire. Now it's interesting to read here in Revelation 17 verse 7. The Bible tells us that the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the women sit. Now this woman is a church. If we read in Revelation, we see that the angel is telling John that this woman is sitting on 7 mountains. Now, did you know that the city of Rome is built on 7 mountains? Now, our understanding of mountains today is different than the people of the old times. For example, if we look at the Olive Mountain, or the Mount of Olives in Israel, it is known as a mountain, whereas today we would refer to it as a hill. Now, this is an illustration of the ancient map of Rome. Now, in the enclosure of the red line, you will see the 7 mountains or the hills on which Rome is being built. Now, I'm not going to read it, my tongue is going to knot. You can see it for yourself. Now, this is a better illustration of the 7 hills of Rome in Italy. Now, notice the river flowing through Rome with the island in the middle. It is still the same today. And this is a 3-dimensional demonstration of ancient Rome. Now you will see on the right hand is the Colosseum, where they fed the Christians to the lions. And here below is the Circus Maximus, where they've had their chariot races. Now it is also known as the Ben-Hur Arena.